I just got this new Kill Team Critical Ops card deck. I'm about to do a full product review, not a tactical review. Let's have a quick look to see what other content creators think about it. Hey, Butter Brothers Tabletop, you want to review this with me?
What? No, dude, I don't even like Kill Team.
Oh, okay. Well, doesn't that just sum up Kill Team as a whole? Let's get into the review. Hello everybody, Glass Half Dead here, and well, this came out of nowhere, didn't it? We have a Critical Ops, Tac Ops and Mission card pack released. Whole new way to play the game. How about that? Do we need this? Who is this for? Good questions. First things first, this video is a review of the product, what you're purchasing. I'm not going to be giving tactical tips about are these Tac Ops good, are they bad, you know, how to play them with your faction. That's a separate video. For this, I just want to tell you what this is, who should buy it. So let's get stuck in. First things first, we have here, as you can tell, I've already sleeved mine up because I was like, you know what, these are going to get used. I'm not going to make the same mistake that I made with the original Tac Ops and cards, etc., of not sleeving them, and now they're looking a smidge ragged. So these are, to be clear, tarot cards. This is a already defined size. If you just Google on Amazon or whatever, you know, tarot card sleeve, you will get the correct sleeves. To be clear, if you also want to know, the actual size you're looking for is 70 by 120 millimeters. This is the same as, if you're a 40k player, what they did for the thing that I can't remember the name of. But yeah, so we have all new Tac Ops, okay? Same archetype names. So, you know, there's no other change. If you can play Recon and Infiltrate, you can still play Recon and Infiltrate, okay? But they're all new. All new. That's not quite true. There's a lot of changes. That's going to be more about the other video is going to cover what those changes are and how teams are going to play now. We have 9 map layouts. Now, we're going to look at exactly what that means. To be clear, for Overworld, for core games, this is no terrain. We're talking about where your drop zone is and where you put your objectives. Obviously, Into the Dark will presumably have, which we'll talk about in a moment, is going to have new map layouts. But Overworld is just like from the core book. There are no terrain definitions. It's just, here's where you drop, here's where your objectives are. 3 new mission types. So this is obviously an interesting one. In the core book and Into the Dark, in fact, every mission had its own thing. You know, there were some types of missions, but it was very much, this one, you go here, you do this, and then you activate it, then you hold it. This is just, you have 3 types, and we'll get into what those are in a moment. You also have the scouting option. So this is, you know, flip an order, dash, barricade. Different. The same, but different. The same, but different. Oh, huge change. Everybody gets +1 CP now. We start the game with 4 CP. That's assuming that you start the game with 3 CP in the last one. Basically, you start the game with, what is it? So naturally, you get 3 base, and then as soon as you go into the first round, you get an additional 1. So yeah, 4 CP. This is huge. This is going to affect different factions differently, depending on how CP hungry you are. In general, though, I would say this is a good change. More CP? Yes, please. Oh, deployment's changed. Right. So you know how in the original... I mean, you know how in the original game, you know, attack a defender. Defender places all barricades first and then places their entire team first? No longer, folks. Yes, you still do your barricades first. Well, alternating. Now, you split your team into 3 equal groups, and then one person places their group, the other, alternating deployments. Huge change. We'll talk about that in a moment. Obviously, faction Tac Op. Why have I put 1 faction Tac Op? I don't even know what that means. Hopefully, when we get to the slide, I'll remember. Also, 4 VP per turn max primary. I put that in just so that you're aware. Oh, you can only take 1 faction Tac Op. There you go, it's a limit. You can't just, if you have like 3 really strong faction Tac Ops, you can't take 2 or 3, you can only take 1. And Free Warcom Into the Dark rules. At the time of recording, I haven't seen them. I've just been told they're coming. Don't know what those are, not going to talk about them. Let's power through. Oh no, I've just pressed a button and it hasn't gone anywhere. Who's buying this? Yeah, good question. So tournaments, obviously, this is like arguably the way it's meant to be played in tournaments. Match play, because you're going to end up with, if you want, just a bunch of decks that you can shuffle and come up with a different game every time. So different mission. You can play each of your 9 deployments mixed with each of your 3 missions coming up to what's that, 27 different missions? Easy peasy. Casual play. Do casual players want this? I don't see why not. For exactly the same reason I just said match play players want this. I don't, as I put there, deck of possibilities. Like, this is just different ways to play the game, and you can just, instead of 9 ways to play, there are 27. Yeah, and it can be randomized easily. It allows as much or as little control as you want. We'll get into it a little bit here, but for example, on this side, which we'll look at in a moment, don't worry, on your little fold-out piece of card here, it gives you different ways to play, both as valid ways in match play, in tournaments, or like casual plays. So if you want, this is, we'll talk about it when we get there. Okay, hopefully that tells you what this is and who might be interested. And of course, the next slide is a subscriber-only slide. So if you aren't a subscriber, please just jump to the correct timestamp for you. But if you are already subscribed to this channel, I'd like to give you a big double hello. Wow, wasn't that incredibly wholesome, guys? You're loved. Everybody's loved. Spread love throughout the world. Oh, I haven't changed the slide. Excellent. That's the crisp YouTube content creator timing there. Just completely forget half the whole production. Yeah, stay strong, hydrate, sleep well, play Kill Team, I guess, and just do what you love. On a minor side note, I do have another channel called Full Scale Wargaming that talks about 40k, on the off chance I actually post about it. I have a Patreon if you want to support more frivolous content that I seem to be producing here. That also now holds my Vantage Point podcast. I also have a Discord. Cool. Oh, if you're a subscriber to my Patreon, a supporter at the $10 level, you get a bunch of cards. This is a show. This video is all about cards. I do cards. They're cool. They look fun. But also along with that, you also get my objective markers as digital files for you to do whatever you want with. Cool. Let's dive in. Format changes. 3VP. You split the team into 3 alternate deployment. I've covered this pretty well in the first minute. I'm going to be honest with you. You only pick one faction Tac Op and your scouting options change. Let's talk about the scouting option changes. Oh, so let's have a look at the deck quickly, shall we? So we've got our deck here. Here we go. You have 3 cards, which are the new scouting options. So 1 is Fortify, which is now, instead of just getting an additional barricade, you get an additional barricade that you can set up on a vantage point. On some maps, OP broken. Infiltrate. This is just, you can swap in the first turning point one of your orders. That's just the same. Recon. Now normally this was a dash. Now a dash with fly. So as you can tell, I think we can all pretty much agree that the ability to swap an order used to be, at the beginning of the game, like the thing that people took, wasn't it? It was very strong. It forced your opponents to really consider the threat of a shot. As things progressed, it became a little bit more valid to take a dash. I think a lot of people started to see the value in that. But now the dash got buffed, and frankly, the barricade got buffed so much that it's now possible that you're going to be taking that. Definitely depends very heavily on map layout, obviously, but that's potentially huge. Cool. 3VP, yeah, so now we're starting the game with 3VP, and then +1 as you go into the first turn. So essentially, starting the game with 4VP. I mean, that's how I'm going to phrase it, but technically it's 3VP, in the sense that in the previous game, before this, we would start with 2 VP, and then you get +1 for the first turn. Split the team into 3, alternate deployment. So this is now, defender still places first. However, let's say you have 10 models. Well, you can't divide that into 3, so it just says, I mean, I can read it, right? I can read the exact phrasing. So that we all know. Oh, you know what? I have it pictured right here. I'll let you read it. Why would I read something? I'll read it for you though, just so that we're all aware. No. This is... Sorry, I'm getting completely sidetracked and trying to tell you the rules. Just split your team as equally as you can into three teams, and then you place one of your teams, the opponent places theirs, you place your second, they place their second, you place your third, they place their third. This will, from the few games I've played of it so far, slow the game down. Because there's more, every time it's a thought process. How much are we actually going to respond to the person placing their team down? In a sense, this is almost like you have to just do the deployment part 3 times. Because you've got to think. Obviously, this is going to be part of the speed up the game, you know, learn to play faster, learn to react faster. But this is a slowdown to the game, which inherently I don't like. But I can't argue with the fact that, yes, I've always felt like, you know, when you're the defender and you just have to place your entire army down, it's like, well, that leads to a very homogenous style of deployment, I feel, that is based purely on the terrain as opposed to any sort of reaction to the opponent. Cool. Anyway, you can see there the match play sequence. It's essentially the same, but you get more VP and stuff. This is the flip side of that. This is just it telling you, hey, here's a bunch of different ways that if you want, you can, you know, it's giving you permission in the rules to play the game as you want. That's all. It's a deck of possibilities. It's saying, hey, if you want to do it this way, play this way. Hey, if you want to play it this way, play it that way. It's all fine. It's just giving you some ideas. Personally, I think the way it's supposed to be played now is, because some of these are, you know, crazy. For example, random. Take your entire deck of 27 Tac Ops, you know, take your entire deck of 27, shuffle it, and just pick 3. Like, crazy. You know, like, it's obviously not saying that's how you should do it. It's also giving you interesting ways, like you can bid, you can veto, all this crazy stuff. But I think the way this is supposed to be played is you take your single faction Tac Op, if you have it, and you take your archetype, Seek and Destroy, whatever, and you go ahead and you free pick, which means you just take your deck of 6 and you just take any of the 3 that you want. There you go. Right, moving on. Scouting changes. So I've obviously already covered these. I got a little bit gung-ho at the beginning. I realised front-loaded a lot of this, but there you can see what the cards look like. Map layouts. So this is obviously something I don't have a huge amount to add to any of these slides. Just these are what they are. We end up with 3 long edge deployments, 3 short edge deployments, and 3 diagonal deployments. There you go. Good stuff. It's again from I haven't played a huge amount of games here, but it's just kind of like, oh, okay, these are fine, these are interesting, but it's all about the terrain layout. So these could be bad, they could be good, depending on the terrain. Mission types. So here we go, the mission types. So we got loot, secure, oh, I dropped one, and capture. So now, here we go. Here are these bad boys. Nice and easy. So loot is just move, action, and that scores you a VP. Secure is move, action, and then you can move off of it. And capture is move and hold. There you go. Nice and simple for you. So again, you mix these 3 in with these different layouts, and it's obviously going to change how the game is played. Tac Ops. So here's the Tac Ops. Now, I've actually already written my notes for these for the other video. That's what I'm recording next. But I would say, for 2 of them, for 2 of the archetypes, 3 of the Tac Ops are identical. 2 have minor changes, and 1 is completely different. Then for the other 2, It's like 5 of them are completely different. 1 of them's the same. So anyway, that's your recon. As you can tell, there are obvious similarities, but they are different. That's your seek and destroy. So, for example, rout, rob and ransack, headhunter, identical. The other 3, minor changes to existing Tac Ops. I think this one really stayed the same, but for example, if you're familiar with the seek and destroy, what was it? So they've got it here, executioner is now completely different to what execution was, despite them having an exceptionally similar name. And they've then completely removed marksman, which sucked. I don't think anybody liked marksman really, and they've given you assassinate target instead, sort of thing. Infiltration. So yeah, lots of changes there. Implant stays the same. Everything else is different. And security. Security, of course, generally considered the best archetype, the strongest archetype. You still have seize ground, central control, and protect assets? No, I don't know. I'm not looking at my notes, so it's fine. And there you go. And then the others have changed. Good stuff. In general, they've made them a little bit easier to score. Finally, we have Into the Dark. Now, that's a bit of a placeholder slide here. I don't know what it is. I haven't seen it. I've just been told that this, as you could tell, so if we go back up to these will not work on Into the Dark. This entire thing does not work with Into the Dark. But we've just had Into the Dark drop. Weird. So they obviously have said, oops, presumably a supply chain issue, and this was meant to come out before Into the Dark, who knows? But they've said, okay, we're going to fix this. They're going to give us a free version that works with Into the Dark. So my understanding is that the 9 new mission layouts, I assume, will be similar to these, but they're just going to be a free Warcom release. I mean, you guys probably already know what they are, because I'm recording this early, and I haven't seen anything yet. It will be another video, presumably. So I assume it will be this, but it will be different layouts, but then it will work alongside these missions, just on Into the Dark layouts. That would be my assumption. And obviously you know that in the, you know, for example, what is it, seize ground, it's not rout, I can't remember. Some of them, security, seize ground, you know, you can't use that on Into the Dark. I believe that the replacement Tac Ops they're going to give you here are just going to replace those. So every archetype will have a full deck of 6 if you want to take that. Is my guess. I don't know what they're going to do. For example, I know that when we then got the FAQ errata for Into the Dark, they stopped some of the faction Tac Ops working. I know the Commandos had one that was essentially seize ground. And they said, no, you can't use that either. I think it's all a bit blurry, to be honest. Are they going to replace those? Don't know. Anyway, with that said, that's it. I will presumably do another video about the Into the Dark stuff, because I don't have that yet. And it will probably be very short, with me saying, oh look, it's exactly what I said. I don't know. Bit of a guess. Okay, and that's it. That's it. Oh, should I give this some sort of like 5 out of 5 stars, or I don't know. In general, I think this is really good for the game. I think that the ability to just take a card deck and say, what are we playing today, throw it on the ground, good. I think a lot of these Tac Ops have generally been changed to be a little bit easier to score, so that's good as well. You know, the actual quality of the product is fine, it's good, it's exactly the same as the 40k thing. What's it called? I can't remember the name of it. The thing where you just randomly select your objectives as you go. It's I believe identical cards, identical size, that's for sure, the tarot card size. Yeah, there you go. It's nice that they've given us the match play game sequence card, because I don't know about you guys, but every time I start my games, I have to look at the cheat sheet. But now they've given us one, so I can hopefully, because I'll be taking this card deck with me, just pull this out, and suddenly, there you go. I suppose a quick note on size. So, This here is the full deck, okay, after it's been sleeved. And this is the size of the original box. So you're also going to have to find out a way to transport it after you've sleeved it, if you're going to sleeve it. Don't quite know what I'm going to do there for that one, but I'll figure it out. In general, I think that as a product, this is going to be great for the game. It's going to provide a lot of new ways to play for all people. And you know what? It's going to free us from the shackles and oppression of having to carry around a core rulebook, because now I just have to carry around a card deck, which is nice. And that's about it, really. Yeah. Also, it's a card deck, so hopefully it's not actually going to cost that much. So it's just a nice little addition. All in all, pretty good. Yeah, I don't have any complaints, really. Cool. All right, well, with that said, if you've made it to the end of the video, I'd like to give you a big triple hello. What a delight. Wow. Honestly, guys, if you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much. There's no way to help a small YouTuber more than just by watching their videos, actually. Yeah, that's a pretty solid statement there. Once again, if you want to support me on Patreon, that'd be awesome. I give out some freebies to the highest guys, you know, the $10 tier. These are just like a little fun thing, you know, it's just as a thank you for supporting me. It's not really meant to be a reason to support me. But the absolute best thing I give out is the digital file for my objectives, honestly. If you're still playing the game and you don't have an objective mark, it doesn't even have to be mine, right? Like, just an objective marker that actually gives you the correct size. You're crazy, man. Get that. It makes the game just that little bit easier, honestly. Whether you like to just play the game or you like to take pictures, having that clear circle so everybody can see who's on or off an objective, really, really useful. Okay, that's kind of it. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Next video coming up very soon, presumably, is going to be the actual tactical rundown of all of the new objectives. But hopefully, you know, I showed you those screenshots so you can take a good gander at those. Okay, thanks everybody. Have a good day, stay safe, and remember, drink enough water, get enough sleep. Bye.